So this is a first for me. I'm going to talk about something that's actually current. I have just discovered this whole trad wife trend, and I went down a rabbit hole of it this morning, and I thought I should share some thoughts because this has really got me thinking. So, firstly, backstory. I have been married for 43 years this year, no, 42 years this year, to my first and only boyfriend. I always considered myself a trad wife. I used to refer to it as I have this 1942 marriage, right? Um, because I stayed home to look after my kids. And there was a conversation I had with my friend Cindy, also an amazing coach, in sometime around when Hillary Clinton was running for president. And I said, I don't think of myself as a feminist at all. And she was actually dumbfounded. She looked at me with like eyes out on stalks and she went, What? I said, Well, no, I don't think of myself as a feminist because I have, been married this long and I've raised my kids and I did all the housekeeping and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I really am not the kind who goes to, parades and wears pink hats and shakes banners and all those kind of things. I just don't do those things. So I'm obviously a woeful feminist if I am one at all. And in the next conversations around that, I realized that I was kind of an OG feminist, like long before that ever got to be a thing. Because here's the thing, I was at home looking after my children, but I was on stage almost full time. The whole reason I got hella good at running my home and very organized with my kids was because I needed to leave them and go and be myself at 6 o'clock in the evening. I had to do that for me. And I'm married to a man who, God bless him, gave me all that freedom of choice, right? He didn't expect me to be anything other than what made me thrive. And this is the piece that I want to highlight in what's going on now. So we've had the period with Girl Boss where everybody who didn't have a career was looked on and they went, oh, wait, you stay home? How could you possibly do that? How fulfilling could it possibly be? And then the other side now where, you choose to stay home with your kids and people going, well, you're wasting your brain and you have this degree. Why aren't you using it? And what happens if he leaves you? Where's your money? All those kind of things. It's like they are the two extremes, but somewhere in the middle is all the rest of us. And at the core of everything is choice and privilege. I know because we made it a conscious decision. When we got married, we chose not to have kids until such time as my husband made a salary that would allow me to be able to stay at home with the kids, right? That was privilege. He happens to have a whole lot of letters behind his name and he got a good job. And after about 5 years, I think it was, he was earning enough for us to be able to have children and I could stay home. Yes, I had to manage that money. Yes, it was, that was part of the organization. That was part of the sort of business side of running a home. But I found I really liked it. And I found that I had a talent for decorating and a talent for organizing. And I can't say that I adored every moment of being a stay-at-home mother, but I wasn't a stay-at-home mother for very long because I just couldn't. I needed time where I could just go and be Jacqueline, where I could be on stage and have the applause and have the glamour and have, other people tending to all the things like laundry and making sure stuff is in place at the right time. I had to go to the theater. I was a better mother when I was on stage. My 5-year-old daughter told me that. And then, as the seasons of our life changed, I stayed at home more in some seasons, And in other seasons, I went to work. And both times it was because I was doing what felt like thriving, what my husband's salary allowed me to do. And when I got myself into a horrible debt, personal debt, in secret from my husband, which was not a smart move, please don't do that. I chose to go and work at Starbucks and then at Victoria's Secret to pay off my own debt because it only felt right. It felt honorable. It felt the right thing to do. I couldn't expect him to fork out the money that should be for our family because I had spent my way into some stupidity, right? And the other piece, when I've watched a couple of these trad wife videos now this morning, I won't be watching anymore. But it occurs to me that they like to portray that they are doing all the stay-at-home stuff. But dear Lord, it looks pretty. And heavens, those kids are well-dressed in all matching outfits. And there is no smudgy marks on the glass, on the, on the French doors. And to me, it looks like they have a job. Their job is an influencer. Their job is to sell you this trad wife lifestyle. And I didn't go down those paths, but I'm assuming that there are some, Amazon affiliate things or whatever is going on. But there are ways, and of course YouTube pays, there are ways that these women are making money. They are not trad wives. They are selling an illusion of what a trad wife is, I suppose. And it's exactly the same as when we had the whole girl boss era and they sold the illusion of, women taking over the corporate environment. Only we did it in a hugely masculine way, and that kind of backfired. So here's my point, is that you get to do you. If for a season you want to be a stay-at-home mom, then be a stay-at-home mom. And if you start to feel like it's claustrophobic and you're not anything other than mom, then go and find something that nourishes your you-ness, because you are vast. You contain multitudes, to quote Walt Whitman. And all of those multitudes need to be honored in some season or another. And yes, there are always seasons where you are more one thing than another. You'll have a season as a newlywed, you'll have a season in a new job where that's all you're thinking about. You have a season as the mom of a newborn where you can hardly think at all. But there are these seasons. And then when you get to later in life, like me, you get to choose how you're going to spend the rest of your third act. And in every single one of those seasons, the more you can honor within yourself, the more you will thrive throughout it. So that's my spiel. I don't even know how many minutes I've been talking, but thank you for listening to this. At the end of the day, being the most you and doing what you can to thrive as you is always going to pay off. I always said I wasn't a good mother. I was a good enough mother. And I wasn't a full-time actress because I wanted to be a mother as well. And these days, I'm not doing my business full-time either, because I'm tending to other parts of life that are just as important. So be more you. Do what's you. And don't let the extremes of one or the other sway you, except to offer an invitation to explore your you-ness. Bye.